CCTV Camera World is proud to provide support for products purchased from our website. If you purchased your product from another vendor, please contact the vendor you purchased from for further assistance.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to add your device to the SCI View software, whether it's a DVR or NVR or IP camera. The method is the same for all three types. So first, you do need to open up the SCI View software. I'm going to double click on the icon, and it may require you to log in. Now, you're going to use the password that you set for the admin user for the software. Keep in mind that it's not the password for your system. It's just the password to open up the software and log into the software. If you don't ever want to do this login process again, make sure you choose Remember Password and the Auto Login option, then click Login. Now, if you're on a shared computer, you will of course want to leave those unchecked. That way nobody can get into your system if it's on a shared computer. Now that I'm in the software, if I want to add a device, you'll notice under my default group of root, I don't have any devices, so I do need to go to the Home Page button at the top left-hand side of the software. And then under the bottom config section on the left-hand side, there is a device management page. Now this is going to open up a new tab in a window to the device management interface. Here there are three tabs. There are the All Equipment, Auto Search, and Grouping tabs. The group is where that default group of root is, and in my videos I just use that default group root, so I'm not going to go to that tab. Instead, I'm going to focus on either the Auto Search or All Equipment tab. So in the Auto Search tab, depending on your network setup, you could click the search button here and find your device over your local network, and then simply add it by checking a box or double clicking it on the Auto Search page. I'm going to show you how to manually add your device using the local IP address or using the P2P ID or QR code. So to do that, you do need to click on the All Equipment tab as I just did, and then you'll need to locate the IP address or the ID for your system in order to add it that way. So I'm just going to pull up the monitor interface from my system. Now keep in mind this is using a computer monitor or television connected directly to your DVR or NVR to find this code. If you have an IP camera, the code will be found on the top label and the IP address on that label on the top of your camera's box that we configured it to. So I'm over here on my monitor for my system. This is the main grid screen where my cameras are streaming, and if I pull my mouse to the bottom left-hand side of the interface, I can pull up the Setup menu. So I'm clicking on that menu, and then I'm clicking Setup, and then I need to log into my user. I'm using the graphical password. After I've logged in, to find my IP address, I need to go to the Network and General tab. So the IP address that my system is currently set to is listed here. So the IP address is 192.168.1.140. Again, that's 192.168.1.140. So this is the IP address that I need to use when I'm adding my NVR to the software. So you will need to find that under the Network and General settings for your recorder. Now keep in mind, this is the local IP address to your local computer network. Therefore, it will only work with the software when you're here on site. If you want to access your system remotely and not use the IP address, then you do need to use the ID. So to find the ID for your system, I'm just going to back out and show you from the main menu. Now keep in mind, you may need to go down here to the bottom left, click on the menu, click Setup to get to this main menu, and then you'll find the code or ID in the system information. So now I'm over here under System, and then there is the Information tab. So I'm clicking right on Information, and down here at the bottom, again, it's called your P2P ID, or you can scan this code with your phone. So there's a QR code here, and that relates to this string of text here at the bottom called your P2P ID. So again, that's the two places where you'll find the information required to add your recorder to the software. Like I mentioned, for a camera, you'll find the QR code and the IP address for the local IP on a label on the top of your camera's box. So now I need to use either this P2P ID or the IP address. First, I'm going to show the IP address. So I'm going to close out of my monitor. Again, it would be a TV or monitor connected to your recorder, and you need to use the mouse that you have connected to your recorder to find this information. Back on the software, I'm in the All Equipment tab, and now I need to click on the Add Device button, which is a plus button here on the top right-hand side of the device management screen. So once I click on that, I'm going to show you the login types. First, you will want to give it a name. In my scenario, I'm going to name it Office NVR. You can name it whatever you like: Home NVR, Office NVR, Shop NVR, Shop DVR, Shop Camera, whatever you want to name your device. It does not matter. Login type, I mentioned the two types are either IP or ID. So IP is your local IP address within your network that we found in the Network and General tab. And then the ID is the one that we found in the System, then Information tab. So for the IP, you need to type that IP address in. And that was 192.168.1.140. Again, 192.168.1.140. Your IP address will be different. So make sure you enter in the IP address that you find in your recorder's Network and General tab. The port will always be the same unless you've changed it. It will be 80. Username and password. Now this is the actual username and password that is set on your recorder. If you're not sure what the text password is, refer to the label on the top of your unit to know what that password is. So now I'm going to go ahead and click the add button. But to recap, I named it. I chose the login type IP. I typed in the unique IP address for my local network that the recorder has in my network. I typed in port 80 for the HTTP port, and then I entered in the username and password. So now I'm going to click the add button. Within a few moments, I should receive a green status, and it should say device login successful. If you get a red status, then you want to make sure that your IP address and your password is correct so that the software can log into your system. If you receive a gray button, it may mean that the software is not able to reach out to the device at all. So again, checking the IP address or making sure that your computer has a valid network connection will be required. Next, I'm going to show you how to add it using the ID. Now keep in mind, you can only add a system either using the IP or the ID. You cannot add the same system twice. So first, I need to come over here to the right-hand side and click the trash can icon to delete the entry for this device. It's going to confirm if I want to delete it. I'm going to click yes. Now I need to go back to the add button. And this time, I'm selecting the ID login type. I'm going to name my NVR again, Office NVR. The ID I need to type in from my system. So again, you can find that ID in the System Information tab on your recorder. And it's important to note that it will be all capital characters. So you need to make sure you have your caps lock button on, or you're using the shift key to capitalize all the characters in your ID. So I've entered the ID in. Now I need to enter the HTTP port 80 and then the username and password. So I've entered the information in. I gave it a name, entered in my ID, making sure that all the characters are capitalized with the numbers. Use the port 80 and then enter in the username and password. Now I'm going to click OK or add to add the system. Now since it's reaching out through the internet, it might take a few more seconds, and now we have a green status for the system. Again, as I mentioned for the IP address, if you receive a red status, make sure that your code is correctly typed in and that you've entered in your password correctly. So now I have a green status. If I go back to my live or main view page, now I can click on my root group and see that I have my Office NVR added. Now I can open it up and find that I have my cameras here. So if you double click on a channel, it'll bring it into the view, but I have another video where I go deeper into depth on how to live view the cameras that are connected to your system. And be sure to watch the other tutorials that show you how to play back footage, use a PTZ camera, and export footage from your Security Camera Sync system. Hopefully this video helps. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.